Step into the world of Founders Dinner. Stories of entrepreneurial wins, losses, and lessons. Where the essence of entrepreneurship is unraveled in its most authentic form. Stas Balanevsky serves as your guide on this journey of discovery and inspiration. In each episode, Stas brings together entrepreneurs from diverse backgrounds to share their stories. It's not just about their victories, but more about the resilience and adaptability they've shown in the face of adversity. These narratives are more than just stories. They are lessons in courage, determination, and the relentless pursuit of success. So whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, dreaming of launching your first venture, or an established business leader seeking new perspectives, Founders Dinner is your invitation to explore the transformative power of entrepreneurship. And now, without further ado, let's welcome the host of Founders Dinner, Stas Balanevsky.
Welcome to the Founders Dinner podcast. I'm your host, Stas Balanevsky. With me is my old friend, Paul Grenauer. Paul, it is awesome to see you. How are you?
Great. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks. First live podcast. This is episode 8. First time we've been in a room. So here we are in Buffalo, New York in my session room. Paul spent a considerable amount of time in said session room implementing EOS. Awesome to have you here. So it's a podcast for entrepreneurs. So I'd love to hear about your entrepreneurial journey. Tell me how you got here, where you are, where you're headed.
I have grown up as an entrepreneur. I come from a family that has an entrepreneurial spirit. If you want to say that, they've always either owned their own business or started businesses. So it kind of, I don't know whether I was pushed in that direction or I was just born in that direction. That just what has worked for me. I guess my very first step into the entrepreneurial world was a landscape business when I was just a kid.
So you were the kid with your mower knocking on doors.
And I had originally worked for a landscape company, learned what was needed to be done, and then said, you know what, I could do this. So with my little Chevette and a little trailer behind my car, I went and did cleanups and started a company called PLM Landscaping. That stood for, no one ever asked me. It's not my initials, but it stands for Paul Loves Money. So that's how I started.
That's awesome.
It led me down the path that I'm in today.
So where are you today? Tell us what you're up to.
Well, my wife is another, again, entrepreneurial spirit. So we work well together. And there was a point in our paths that either I was going to go become a sales manager and move to Florida with a job offer, or we were going to take the family path and start a family together and work together. And that's what we did. So that was many years ago, 30 plus years ago.
Yeah, wow.
But we opened the first salon and day spa in Buffalo, New York. And really, I should say she opened it up because I just helped her. I did all the books and certainly had a stake interest in the company, but really the company is really built around my wife because that's the best image. And she's the one who came up with the original idea. I just backed her.
And
so,
multiple award-winning, best in the business,
great business, yep. And
first best, not only now, so open to category too.
Right. So that was excellent. And then we moved into the path of developing staff, right? So when you have a large business, you need a lot of staff. So we decided to open up a cosmetology school. So that was about 18 years ago. So we opened up a cosmetology school, which is certainly a natural fit towards what we do. And now, so we've had the salon and spa, we've had the cosmetology school, And now we're dabbling into our next phase, which is real estate development. So
That's would sound like a bit of a left turn, but it's really not.
it really wasn't, because we wanted to expand the salon and spa. So we purchased a large property just before COVID. It was really good timing.
Perfect timing.
Yes. So we purchased a large property, and then life taught us a lesson. Why have your eggs all in one basket? Diversify a little bit. So we are in the process of building a 60,000 square foot building that has apartments on the second, third, and fourth floor, and then on the first floor is commercial.
Right.
So part commercial for our salon and spa, and then the other part will be for other businesses.
That's awesome. So the entrepreneurial journey continues.
It does.
With, I'm sure, its own set of challenges.
Yeah. And every day is a new. You know what? I read a book one time, and I wish I could remember who wrote it, but he had stated that you need to learn to love the problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about that often when the problems come our way. So
yeah, well, I mean, that's the whole thing, right? It's just I always say it's linked recoveries.
that's right.
Right? And I've heard it said that in a business cycle in a 10-year business cycle, you have 2 unbelievable years where you can do no wrong, 2 years that can put you out of business, and 6 years that are just there.
Yes, there's a lot of truth to that.
Right?
Yes.
Because sometimes you're like, this is easy. I love entrepreneurship. And then all of a sudden, like, COVID drops in your lap, and you're like, huh.
I hate the world.
It's really tough to do a spa treatment over Zoom.
Yes.
So it's those challenges, it's those things that happen to us, and sometimes it's those things that we do to ourselves that are the really big lessons. The title of the podcast is Founders Dinner, Entrepreneurial Stories of Wins, Losses, and Lessons. You don't learn a ton from winning.
Very true.
But you learn a lot from losing. What I'd like you to do is just go through your brain and think about, okay, what was a situation where maybe you had a misread, made a wrong move, did something that wasn't in the right direction? What was the lesson that I learned as a result of it? And then how have I applied that lesson? Because what I really want to do, the whole thrust of this podcast and everything, is a bunch of entrepreneurs. I'm lucky enough to be friends with lots of us, right? And the idea was during one of my founders' dinners, when people were talking about this, I just thought, this has got to be in a book. Like, this lesson right here has got to be in a book. So what I'm trying to do, episode 8 right now to go, get 100 episodes, get all those stories, create a book, and send it out to entrepreneurs as the unvarnished truth of what it really is like to run a business. So I'd love to hear your lesson, what you think your contribution to entrepreneurs out there could be.
Well, there's so many mistakes you make along the way. But I think the biggest, we didn't start succeeding as a company or as a business until we really focused on the numbers. And there was a time when we first opened up our business, we just did the business by the seat of our pants. And you're the everything. You're the bookkeeper. You're the entrepreneur. You're the person that fixes things and cleans the bathrooms and does whatever is needed. And I think we were really hampered and slowed by not getting a bookkeeper sooner. And myself thinking, I can pay the bill. I can stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning and pay the bills. I can input the day's numbers, the week's numbers, but what would happen is the business would get in the way, if you want to, and the daily receipts would be stacking up, and it wouldn't get done until the end of the week or 2 weeks later.
So your cost controls are out the window.
Out the window. And you really you're not, and it didn't hit me in the face quick enough. We could have been more successful quicker had I bit the bullet and gone with a good bookkeeper sooner, and then just work on the reports. Give me the report I need at the beginning of every week and analyze the numbers instead of being the one that's always inputting all the numbers. You do learn it without a doubt. And
is that your highest and best use?
Exactly. It is very important to understand how the accounting works and how the P&L works. And until I really started breaking down my P&L on a weekly basis and hammering into the P&L, we were just shooting in the dark. We really were.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, thankfully, great product, great customer care, great, like you've succeeded in that business.
We have. And learning the uniqueness of our business along the way certainly helps, where you can analyze whether you're making money or not.
Mm-hmm.
But without a doubt, we could have been farther down this path or expanded quicker had I paid attention to the numbers earlier in our careers. So I think that was my biggest mistake. But it's easy to get, as an entrepreneur, you know, with wearing all the hats, it's easy to think it'll just happen. It's not, it doesn't.
It's the focus on the how, right? The focus on the how is how an entrepreneur starts, because you are everything.
Mm-hmm.
You're the guy that plows the driveway. You're the guy that folds the towels. You're the guy that does all the stuff, because you're like, if I don't pay that person and I do it myself, then I make all the money. But at some point, you hit a point of inflection where you have to think about the who, not the how.
Exactly. And there's no doubt, and your point is well taken. Let's say a dryer breaks down in our back room, because we wash towels all the time.
Right.
And it's a belt. I can fix that belt very easily. I'm a handy person.
Yeah.
I can rip off the back panel, change the belt, and get going. And not pay the $600 for the repair.
The service call and all that stuff.
But you have to weigh that. Is that worth my time, or do I need to get to the point, and do I want to get to the point where I'm not doing that all the time? There's no doubt that at times it can make sense,
Sure,
because it can fix the problem quickly and you can move on. But there's other times if you're not careful, you will be caught up in that treadmill where you are the business and not overseeing the business.
Yeah, I say it all the time, and I'm sure you'll agree, it's all a math problem, right? So if it's a $600 repair bill and 2 days of downtime, which is going to potentially hurt customer experience, and you ask someone to go run out and get your belt, so that costs a man hour, and then it takes you half an hour to fix it. It costs you half a man hour at your pay rate.
Yeah.
You look at the thing and go, for the hard cost, maybe not, but for the opportunity cost and just the pain in the butt and all of that stuff, it's worth it. But at least now you're going into it well informed.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And where something like maintenance of the HVAC units really should be put on a company with a schedule, right, and not part of your repertoire. So, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm very happy that I don't own this building.
Well, it's a beautiful building though, with a great view.
But with the HVAC this, HVAC that, no thank you.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. So if you were to look at the moment you believe you should have gotten a bookkeeper and the moment that you did get a bookkeeper, what do you think that whole, first of all, how much time was that? Was it months or years?
Oh, it was years. Yeah, I should have done it at least 2 years earlier.
2 years earlier. So
yeah.
What do you think that the opportunity cost? It's hard to quantify, but looking at your rapid evolution in all of your businesses,
mm-hmm.
what do you think the real opportunity cost was in not getting a bookkeeper for 2 years?
I guess you could just say that it probably put us 2 years behind as well. It's tough to quantify, but it gives you time to oversee and look at the big picture of your business. And that's what it gave me, is that now instead of my concern of I need to input my weekly or daily numbers into QuickBooks, now I'm sitting back analyzing my P&L saying, where can we put ourselves in the next position to grow? Yeah. And that's what you miss out on, right?
Right.
And as we're talking about HVAC, one of the biggest expenses when you're writing a lease with a landlord, I think, is HVAC costs. Can be huge. And we've gotten killed on that over the years. And when I had time to analyze the numbers and see there's got to be a better way with these HVAC costs, there is. And that gave me time to sit back, analyze, and then talk to friends in the industry and say, what can be done? And it's negotiating a better lease, first of all, and coming back where you're capping your HVAC costs, and not if a unit goes down, it's not your responsibility to pay for that unit. All negotiable, but again, you need to have the time and the clear head.
So it's forest for the trees.
Yes, right. And you've shown your little bottle over there with the sand where you shake the sand and it's all cloudy because you don't have the time to let your head clear and say, where are our opportunities? There it is.
Yeah, so here it is. This is the prop for a clarity break. So this is your brain, all cloudy, murky. So this is just a mason jar with a bunch of sand, half full of sand and then half full of water. And when you shake it up, it's murky and you can't see through it. And then you have to settle and you have to sit still. We talk about clarity breaks and really sitting quietly for a while to get into flow and to let your brain settle out. These are like the shower thoughts that you have when you're in the shower and you're like, I should do this. It's because you're not thinking about anything else. Versus when you're in the business, you're like, I could analyze the HVAC, but I have a 6-inch thick stack of receipts that I have to put in. And that's more important than saving the money, when in fact, it's more urgent. It is not more important.
That's right.
That's the whole thing. So, it took you 2 years too long to get a bookkeeper. So what's the big lesson? When you zoom out, what's the big lesson that you're taking away from that?
Well, just like where we are now. So as we grow, we probably are getting close and to the point where we need a higher level bookkeeper. We need someone who can really manage the numbers and not only do the data input, but also help be another clarity, big picture, mind thinking person where they're going to say, we could save on, you name it, credit card fees if we took this direction.
Right. So getting more strategic with it instead of just the tactical doing of the work.
Right. And it taught me, it was a good lesson because it did teach me that I have to be willing to say to our team when they call and something breaks, that's great. What do you think we should do about that?
Yeah.
Instead of jumping in and say, I'll be right over with my toolkit. So.
Well, teach a man to fish, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. That's really great. It's important lessons. So how do you suggest you get past the whole, I need a bookkeeper, right? There are people that will be listening to this going, yep, that's me, but it's expensive and I can't afford it.
It to some degree, it's a leap of faith. It's almost, when is the right time to have a baby? There never is a good time to have a baby. So it just, the entrepreneurial world, at least for me, is good money coming in. If I bring in a bookkeeper, that's going to take away that money. But that is true. But until you open up your mind and trust in much better you can make your company when you have time to sit at the 10,000 foot level and analyze it and really take that time to do that. And I just, it's, of course you have to have the cash in the bank. You can't do it when you're losing money. to hire someone. That's never going to work.
Right.
But if you are certainly above breaking even and the company is profitable and moving in a good direction, you really should think about it sooner than later, because that's only going to give you more opportunity to grow and get your hands out of the daily business and more worried about the true direction that you want to take the company.
Yeah.
Or start another venture, right?
Yeah, true. Very true. Because entrepreneurs, while that entrepreneurial itch does get scratched with one company, I don't know a single entrepreneur that's said, yeah, I'm one and done. They're all serial entrepreneurs. All of them they have ideas for the next thing.
Yeah, I would agree. And I find that the entrepreneurs aren't the ones they're not the ones that are looking to retire.
No.
They're not the ones talking about, I'm going to retire, and they're always going to have their hands in something. And they might have their opportunities to go on vacation and travel when they want to, but not get out of the business altogether.
Yeah, that's not to say you can't have some great liquidity events and, right, sell a business.
Yeah.
Then start. I know so many entrepreneurs that have sold the business. They're like, I am done. I'm like, you are not. I will see you in 6 months. 6 months later, they're like, so I'm spinning up a little thing, because they can't not do it.
Exactly.
They just can't not do it.
That's the way I see entrepreneurs. Is I don't see them retiring. I just see them moving on to the next project.
That's really cool. That's awesome, Paul. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on the podcast. I appreciate your wisdom, and it will help people, which is going to be cool. I hope that someday that someone listens to this podcast and does the thing that you're suggesting and then sends you an email and says, hey, took your advice. This happened. It was good. Because that would be huge, right?
Great. Yeah. That's, if we can help anybody, that's certainly the direction that we want to take it, and I hope we can. It's a fun journey.
It sure is. Not without its lumps and bumps.
No.
But for all of the listeners in the Buffalo area, well, all of Paul's details are going to be in the footer, and you'll be able to get in touch with Paul. But if you're in the Western New York area, Exterior Salon and Spa on Main Street in Williamsville, awesome spot. Go there, buy gift certificates, makes a great gift. And so this has been episode 8, I believe, of the Founders Dinner podcast. Thank you to my buddy Paul Grenauer for being here and being the first live episode. And I'm your host, Stas Balanevsky, signing off. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Stas.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Founders Dinner. Stories of entrepreneurial wins, losses, and lessons. Once again, we've journeyed through the inspiring and challenging world of entrepreneurship with Stas Balanevsky, uncovering stories that illuminate the resilience and adaptability at the heart of success. Each narrative shared today is a testament to the unyielding spirit of our entrepreneurial guests, providing lessons in courage and determination. We hope these stories have not only entertained, but also inspired you. Whether you're taking the first steps in your entrepreneurial journey or are a seasoned leader in the business world, Founders Dinner is more than just a podcast. It's a community of learning, inspiration, and connection. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more insightful episodes and join our vibrant LinkedIn community to continue the conversation, share experiences, and connect with like-minded entrepreneurs. Until next time, keep embracing the entrepreneurial journey. This is Stas Balanevsky, thanking you for being a part of the Founders Dinner family. See you at the next dinner.